All right, 49ers fans, we need to talk. Because something is happening behind the scenes, something the team isn't broadcasting loudly, but something you can see if you pay close attention to the details. And this concerns Deebo Samuel. Today we're breaking down why the 49ers might quietly be preparing Deebo for a limited role moving forward, what indicators are pointing to this shift, how Kyle Shanahan is managing it, and what it means for the offense as the Niners push deeper into the season. This isn't panic talk. This isn't drama. This is a real, football-based situation that the coaches are clearly monitoring. Let's get into it. Part 1. Deebo's usage has shifted, and it's not by accident. If you've followed the 49ers closely this season, you already know something feels different with Deebo's role. The touches, the snap counts, the design of plays, it has all slightly shifted. The first big indicator? Kyle Shanahan's reduced reliance on Deebo in high collision plays. In previous seasons, Deebo was the bruiser, the sledgehammer, the guy who took a jet sweep, lowered his shoulder, and physically imposed his will. But lately, you're not seeing as many of those plays. You're not seeing Deebo being force-fed screens or used as a running back as often. You're not seeing designed hit-stick plays that put him in traffic. That is not random. That is intentional. Shanahan knows Deebo has battled rib, shoulder, and lower body issues in multiple seasons. And while Deebo is built like a tank, the team clearly wants to manage his workload to preserve him for January football. Which brings us to the next sign. Part 2. Snap count trends tell a story. You don't even need a rumor. Just look at the actual snap management. Whenever the 49ers play from ahead, Deebo's snaps dip noticeably. In critical situations, he's out there. In neutral or low-leverage situations, Shanahan rotates other receivers in more often. This is the quiet management fans rarely pay attention to. But it's the same type of pattern the team used with Christian McCaffrey earlier last year. It's a preservation tactic. The coaching staff is obviously protecting Deebo's physical load. And listen, that's not a negative thing. That's intelligent coaching. But when usage shifts this consistently, it means something bigger is being monitored internally. Part 3. The injury history matters more than ever. Deebo can play through pain. He is as tough as they come. But the 49ers know the truth. His physical style of football is not sustainable at maximum volume every week. Deebo has battled rib injuries, hamstring strains, knee-leg tightness, shoulder trauma, soft tissue recurrences. He's the type of player who gives 150% on every snap. The problem is, that style leaves you vulnerable. The staff has already publicly mentioned keeping him fresh. Translation, they are not pushing him like the past. You see it in the game plan. You see it in usage. You see it in how often other receivers are being schemed open instead. This isn't a coincidence. Part 4. The rise of other playmakers is changing his role. Another major factor. The 49ers now have multiple players who can fill Deebo's old jobs. Brandon Ayuk is now a true WR1. Christian McCaffrey absorbs many former Deebo touches. Jawan Jennings is a clutch possession guy. Ricky Pearsall is being slowly integrated. George Kittle is still elite in key moments. The offense no longer needs Deebo to be a superhero on every drive. And here's what happens when you don't need that. You stop calling high-risk plays for that player, which is exactly what's happening. Part 5. The 49ers are playing the long game. Here's the biggest point, and the reason this update matters. The 49ers are quietly preparing for the playoffs. This team believes it can win the NFC. And they know Deebo will be a necessary weapon in January. But that only works if he's healthy. The staff has likely decided, let's limit the unnecessary hits now. So he's lethal when it matters most. This is exactly how championship teams operate. Part 6. What limited role really means. Let's be clear. This does not mean Deebo is being benched. This does not mean Deebo is fading out of the offense. This does not mean Deebo is injured in a severe way. What it does mean: fewer high-contact plays, fewer RB-like touches, more situational usage, more rotation to preserve him, more targeted plays, fewer volume plays. Expect more downfield routes, more decoy motion, more selective scheming, more big moment Deebo, fewer body-punishing touches. This is still Deebo Samuel. He is still a star. But the team is using him smarter. Part 7. Why fans should actually feel encouraged. This may sound like a negative update on the surface, but it's not. This is the 49ers learning from past mistakes. In 2022, Deebo was run into the ground. In 2023, injuries slowed him late. This time, the coaching staff is trying something new. Manage him now, dominate with him later. That's how you keep a weapon fresh. That's how you protect your investment. That's how you maximize impact. The 49ers are not limiting Deebo because they doubt him. They're limiting him because they need him in the biggest moments. Part 8. What happens next? Here's what you should expect in the coming games. Slightly lighter workload. More strategic usage. More motion, less direct contact. Ayuk getting heavier volume. Pearsall slowly expanding. Kittle becoming the mid-game engine. CMC shouldering the heavy lifting. And then, when the 49ers hit late December, when playoff seeding is on the line, when they need a spark, Deebo will be the one they lean on. But only because they managed him properly now. Final message to 49ers fans. This isn't a crisis. This isn't drama. This isn't a controversy. This is a smart football decision. The coaching staff is quietly protecting Deebo Samuel's health and preserving him for the games when his physicality becomes a weapon rather than a risk. If Deebo is fresher, if Deebo avoids small injuries, if Deebo is explosive in January, that could be the deciding factor in whether the 49ers return to the NFC title game or not. The quiet changes you're seeing now, they're not mistakes. They're preparation. And that's why this update matters so much.